Anchors up, sales at full. Welcome to SlooPicks. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right, Jared. Doing all right. How are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. You're sounding nice. I think we got our crackle issue taken care of, so that's a good thing.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Sorry if Kyle's mic's been a little crackly. We've been trying to fix it. I think we got it. I think we fixed it.
Too many points of failures.
Yeah. Listen, patreon.thesloopcast.com if you want to help Kyle and I buy better equipment. That's all I'm saying. Patreon.thesloopcast.com always be plugging. But that's not what we're doing, Kyle. It's not ad time yet. It is, however, time for the SlooPicks. Every single week, we pick 7 games against the spread. Now, we already did Ohio State versus Michigan. We did that on I'm going to call it the Thursday episode. I might release it before Thursday because Thursday's things. Yeah, I might release it early. I'm still going to call it the Know Your Enemy episode, the Thursday episode of the podcast. So we won't be talking about Ohio State and Michigan in great detail today. However, I will go ahead because I'm a nice guy. As I pull up the picks screen, I'll let you know that our guest picker this week is Dinger, and he picked Ohio State to win and cover. I picked Ohio State to win and cover, and Kyle picked Michigan. No, he didn't. Kyle, the coin was still there from last week. Your coin was just still where it was from last week. Kyle picks Ohio State to win and cover. If you want to hear our detailed thoughts about that, go listen to the Know Your Enemy episode, which is the episode we released right before this episode.
Very proud of you, Jared.
I think I got all the M's again.
Every M is crossed off. Yep.
I think I got all the M's. It's always a bit of a challenge to find all of the M's. I think I got all of the M's.
I was looking for a logo for one of the broadcasters.
Yeah.
Broadcastings, but nope. We're all good.
Yeah. I even got the M in Columbus and Clemson. I got the M in time.
Yeah.
I think I got all the M's. It's always a challenge.
All right, let's go ahead and start us off here. South Carolina heading on over to Clemson to take on Clemson, where Clemson is a 2.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. Ooh, apologize for that.
I've straight up burped into the microphone before, Kyle. You're fine. I don't care. I'll go first since you're drinking. Since the start of October, Clemson is 2-5 against the spread. In that same time frame, South Carolina is 5-2 against the spread. South Carolina will cover, and with a 2.5 point spread, it probably means they're going to win as well. So I'm gonna take the Gamecocks win and cover.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. I have the same. Honestly, I have the Gamecocks winning here as well. I mean, Clemson's the favorite here, so yeah, I'll pick South Carolina to win here.
All right. What about our guest picker, who once again is a longtime Discord and Patreon member, Dinger?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up here. He says here, I don't think this is correct here. So I'm just going to read it here. South Carolina is good at causing team pain. Clemson will have their outside playoff chance taken from them. South Carolina win and cover, but then he puts the favorite. He picks the favorite here. So I'm going to guess he means South Carolina to.
Yeah. That's why we asked people to both explain and pick the radial, mm-hmm. Not radial. No, that's what it's called, right? The thing you click on a form.
Radio button.
Yeah.
Radio.
Is it radio?
It's a radio button. Yes.
Okay. All right. Both things you can find in a car, by the way. A radial and a radio. I don't know why I felt the need to bring that up. Kyle, you're picking first this time.
All right. Miami heading up to New York to take on Syracuse. Miami in this matchup is a 10.5 point favorite over the Fighting McCords. I just don't trust anything with the Syracuse team, and Miami. This is pretty much, well, it's not a make or break for them, but man, if they lose
for Miami, I think it is.
Yeah,
I don't think they make the playoffs with a loss here.
They're going to have to come out on fire here, and I think they will. So 10.5 is a tough number, but I'll take the Hurricanes to cover.
All right. Both teams are roughly 500 against the spread this year. Both teams are 500 against the spread in conference this year. Both teams are 500 against the spread and are 3-1 in the traditional sense in the month of November. I could find no statistical difference to make an assessment here. So we're gonna throw the numbers away and go with narrative instead. Miami, to put it simply, has more to play for than Syracuse. Not only are they trying to win a spot in the ACC conference game, and for those of you playing at home, they are win and in to get into the conference game. I mean, I suppose Clemson could lose and they could make the conference game that way too. I guess is what Kyle was saying when he said it wasn't do or die. So I guess Kyle was right. As is tradition. I forgot that Clemson could lose and that would also put Miami in. But here's the thing. They're also in contention if you watched Kyle and I's Collegiate Chaos episode on Tuesday, we fought for, I don't know, Kyle, 15 minutes about who should get the last slot.
Yeah, we shouldn't do that here.
No. I'm not saying we should. But the point is that we fought for like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes about who gets the 12th spot, who gets the last at-large spot between Miami and Alabama. And all of that to say that they're in contention potentially for an at-large bid too. So there's not just incentive to win this game. There's incentive to win this game and to look good doing it. So yeah, Miami to win and Miami to cover.
All right. Let's see what Dinger says. Dinger says here, Syracuse has been taking a little trash Syracuse has been talking a little trash, and that's Miami's game. Miami to win and cover. All right. Third game here. We have Arizona State and Arizona. The Arizona State is a 9.5 point favorite in this matchup here. I believe it is your pick here, Jared. Who do you have in this matchup?
Arizona State is 9-2 against the spread this year. And the two games that they didn't cover are the two games that they lost. If Arizona State wins, they cover. And in week 14, that's not a coincidence, that's a trend. And since I do believe Arizona State will win this football game, Arizona State to win and cover.
Yeah, I agree. I think Arizona State will win and cover this here. I mean, they have a lot to to play for here. I know that they just come off with a big victory over BYU, and there is that chance that they may slip up here, have kind of a down game here after that high of a win. But I'll still pick Arizona State here.
Kyle?
All right, Dinger.
Kyle, before we get to Dinger, you've picked the exact same games as me so far.
Mm-hmm.
You're behind in the SlooPicks.
I know.
You might need to start.
I've picked
cheat
these. I've picked these before. I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating like you did a couple weeks ago.
Maybe cheat a little.
I'm not cheating like you did a couple weeks ago.
I never cheated. You're just jealous at my success.
All right. Dinger has here, he says, Arizona State is riding too high after beating by BYU and is ripe for the picking. Wildcats to win.
All right.
So we said the same thing, but he went the other way.
No, I mean, listen.
Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
In my opinion, Arizona State will either win and cover or lose. I don't foresee a scenario based on the statistics where they win but don't cover.
Fair enough.
That would be the first time that has happened for Arizona State all year. All right, Kyle, what do we have next?
Next up, we have Notre Dame and USC, but we'll get to them after we take our first ad break here. So we are the SlooPcast, as everybody should know, listening to us on the podcast and on YouTube here. I'm just kind of say that when we do the Bleacher Report show there, but thesloopcast.com is your go-to link for everything and anything SlooPcast related here. Our YouTube page, our Discord, Patreon, everything is in there over at thesloopcast.com. So we'll go ahead and take our first ad break and be right back.
Are you doing okay, Kyle?
I got the hiccups for some reason here, so I'm just.
I was the one that was drinking last episode. What's your deal?
None. I got none here. Notre Dame and USC is the next game here. Notre Dame is a 7.5 point favorite in this matchup. I believe I go next here.
Okay.
And one of our favorite sayings here, Jared, and that is that number is not high enough.
Yeah.
Give me the Fighting Irish on the road to win and cover.
All right. Notre Dame is undefeated against the spread since the start of October. Period. There's not if the weather or at home or again. No, just straight up. Undefeated against the spread since the beginning. I guess there is one qualifier since the beginning of October. Not only that, and this is an impressive number, Kyle. They have beaten the spread. Not their opponent. They've beaten the spread by double digits in 4 of their last 6 games.
Wow.
Notre Dame to win and cover.
All right. See what Dinger says here. Notre Dame looks like they are running at peak for them, and USC is limping to the end. Notre Dame to win and cover.
Man, we are all very symbiotic.
Mm-hmm.
Does that word make sense here?
Kumbaya.
Sure, that too. Very kumbaya.
All right. Next up, we have Texas and Texas A&M.
Oh boy, you brought the accent out on that one.
Let's see. This is a 7:30 kickoff game. Texas is a 5.5 point favorite on the road in College Station in Kyle Stadium. It is your pick, Jared.
And Kyle, this is a play-in game, a straight up play-in game for the SEC championship.
It is.
There's
about it.
Georgia's going to the SEC championship game. That's locked in. The winner of this game gets the other spot, period. This is not, the SEC is not doing 8-team tiebreakers like the Big 12. Straight up winning in for Texas and Texas A&M. Texas 6-5 against the spread this year. Meanwhile, Texas A&M is only 3-8 against the spread this year. Now, some might stop there. However, since the beginning of October, both teams are 2-4 against the spread. Texas, we talked during Know Your Enemy about September Texas versus the rest of Texas, right? There you go. So I do think Texas wins this game, but I'm really torn on the spread. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay? Bless me.
You
all
okay
that
back there?
Listen, I tried to hold it back. A better podcaster would cut that out. Not gonna. We don't edit the podcast. This is live to tape, everybody. When I sneeze, I sneeze. When Kyle hiccups, he hiccups. I'm pretty torn on the cover. So one of our Sloopcast rules, Kyle, I don't remember the number, and our lore master general is not currently in the chat. But when in doubt, pick the underdog. When in doubt, pick the underdog. Give me the Aggies.
Thought we were going to differ on this one, Jared.
But
I got the Aggies.
But I do think Texas wins.
I'm calling for the upset here. I think the Aggies have a real shot at knocking off Texas here. So I know it's tough playing in college. I know it's tough playing in College Station here. So I just have a feeling that Texas A&M is going to come into this game and outright win. So
I'll say this: neither of these teams have momentum right now.
Nope.
Neither of these teams have a lot of momentum at the moment,
and that's why I'm taking the home team here.
Honestly, fair. What does Dinger say?
All right, let's move here. Texas has looked off for weeks, and the 12th man is going to get them. Texas A&M to win and cover. All right, and our last game to pick, Jared, is our Pac-12 After Dark. I mean, no, it's our Big Ten After Dark. Oregon and Washington.
We're just at dark. It's 3:30 local time.
Yeah, that's true. Well, for this time of the year,
I guess it'd be
is nighttime.
Well, it's also 4:30, but whatever.
Oregon and Washington. Oregon in Eugene, is a 19.5 point favorite here. It is my pick here. Unlike Texas and Texas A&M, Oregon's got things rolling here, so they're going to keep things rolling here. I'll pick the Ducks to cover.
So if you watched Know Your Enemy, which is the episode we released before this episode, where we talked about Ohio State and Michigan, always be plugging. I mentioned that Ohio State had won 8 of their of their 11 games. Of their 11 games, they've won 8 of them by 20 or more points. And I made that in reference to the fact that Ohio State was a 20-point favorite over Michigan. Well, here we have Oregon and Washington. And with Oregon and Washington, we also have a very similar spread, essentially 20 points. Both teams are 5-6 against the spread this year. Both teams are 4-4 against the spread in conference this year. But Oregon has won 7 of their last 11 games by 20 or more points. I keep saying last 11 games. It's just the 11 games of the season. They win by 20 or more quite frequently, is the point. This number doesn't scare me. Oregon to win and cover.
All right. Dinger says here, Washington has their bowl eligibility set and nothing on the line while the Ducks are feeling the weight and will be looking ahead to dealing with an Ohio State team that just
typo.
Did he misspell this? Yeah, it must be a typo here. That just beat the team up north 69-0. Yes, Huskies to win.
69-0. What on earth happened?
He's that they're while the Ducks are feeling the weight and will be looking ahead to dealing with an Ohio State team that just beat the Cheaters up north 69-0.
Gotcha.
So he's got Washington to win and cover.
Interesting. I saw the radio button when I was making the graphic beforehand, and I knew he picked Washington. I didn't know he was calling. Actually, I may have known that he was calling for the upset, but that's a different conversation. Kyle, and as stated, we all went for Ohio State in the 7th game. Kyle, you're not going to make any ground on me this week, buddy.
I mean,
I know.
I understand. That's just
how it rolled. That's just how it rolled out.
That's just how it rolled. So,
yeah. On 5 of the 7 games, we all picked the same team. On the what's that game called? Is it like the Battle in the Desert, or what is it? What's the Arizona rivalry called? I forget. It has something to do with a desert. So that game, and then the Oregon-Washington game, Dinger went against Kyle and I. Kyle and I went with Arizona State. Dinger went with Arizona. Kyle and I went with Oregon, while Dinger went with Washington. Desert. The duel in the desert. It's alliterative. Of course it's duel in the desert. Why didn't I think of that? All right, Kyle, we have one more game to play before we call this an episode. But before we do that, do one more quick ad break. It is Hate Week, Kyle. It's still Hate Week. And I would like to point out that we have lots of anti-Michigan merchandise in the merch store, merch.thesloopcast.com. That's it. That's the entire plug. Merch.thesloopcast.com. Go buy some anti-Michigan merch. Okay, Kyle. It's time to play Chaos Theory. If for some reason this is your first episode, it's week 14. What are you doing? But if for some reason it's your first week watching us or listening to us, we play this game called Chaos Theory. In this game, you have to pick an unranked team to beat a ranked team. The points you get are the inverse of the team's ranking. So, for example, if you were to pick Oregon to lose, Oregon's the number 1 team in the country. If you were to pick Oregon to lose, you could win 25 points. Meanwhile, who's 25th? Is it like Illinois or Missouri?
That's a great question.
It doesn't matter. If you pick the 25th team to lose, you get a single point, and all of the numbers in between. Colorado. And for the record, we use AP rankings because our guest pickers have to pick before the college football playoff comes out. So we want to keep things even. So we do use the AP and not the college football ranking for this.
Okay. So then Army.
Okay. So Army. All right, Kyle. I have Dinger's pick loaded in.
Me to go first?
I got my pick loaded in. I want to save Dinger's for last. That's all I'm going to say.
You want to say, well, Dinger already had his. Already said his in the pick. Okay.
I'm trying to be dramatic. He takes a big swing. I'm trying to save it for last. I'm trying to be dramatic here, Kyle. I'm trying to do a podcast. I'm trying to be entertaining. I'm trying to build some tension. Who do you have?
I got an upset here.
Well, of course.
Worth 13
that's the point of the game.
Well, hold on. Where are they ranked? Hold on. How many points is it truly?
It's whatever the AP says.
Rank the same. 13 points. For 13 points, Jared.
Uh-huh.
I got the Tigers. Heading over to Tuscaloosa in the Iron Bowl. Take down the Crimson Tide.
All right. So Kyle picks Bama to lose the Iron Bowl.
Having one of their worst seasons
since the last time they switched coaches.
Mm-hmm. Since probably year one of Saban.
Yeah. I think Saban had like one, and I'm going to use this term very loosely, bad season outside of his first season. And by bad, I mean, I think he lost like 4 games. Like, I'm using the word bad very loosely because, Nick Saban.
He had 1 year where he lost 3 games in 2010.
Okay. God, Saban was a monster. I'm really glad I get this.
So he had 2 years. Oh, nope. That was Mike. His first year, he was 7-6.
Yeah.
After that, it was 3 losses in 2010. After that, it was 2 or less losses every year.
I'm really glad I get to say he was a monster, quite frankly. I'm going with Notre Dame. And while I did pick Notre Dame to win and cover during the SlooPicks portion of the SlooPicks show, sometimes you just got to play the math. Sometimes you got to take a big swing. I always take a big swing. And while I think that USC has like a 15% chance to win the game, which would make it a bad pick in the SlooPicks, I think that's actually a pretty decent pick for chaos theory.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Especially for 21 points.
Yeah. And Dinger, Jared.
Dinger's trying to hit a dinger.
He is. He just says this team's looking ahead of their conference championship game here. And that is the Ducks of Oregon.
This is the first time all year someone's picked number 1 to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times has number 1?
This is the second time the Cats have picked Oregon to lose.
This is true. Wait a minute, hold on. That was also Dinger.
Oh, Dinger.
Dinger hates the Ducks.
Gripe? Do you have a? Yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
You
know what else is interesting? As I was looking up the numbers, going back to Alabama here, other than the first and last year that Saban was the coach at Alabama,
mm-hmm.
Alabama had at least 1 point during the season, was ranked AP number 1 in every season other than his first and last.
I'm so glad he's retired. I honestly think Ohio State has an extra 2 national championships. I don't know if I can back that up with specific years or not. And of course, as far as like getting into the playoffs, it's not necessarily just because you lost to Alabama the way that Ohio State did lose to Alabama in the 2020 national championship game. So you can probably take a direct one right there, but also like, I feel like Urban gets one and Day already has one, if not for Saban. Hell, if not for Saban, decent chance that Urban maybe stayed at Florida longer too. But now we're going down a rabbit hole that we don't need to go down.
Yep. All right. I think that's it. You got anything else before we wrap things up, Jared?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. God, this is our second to last Chaos Theory pick of the year. We'll do it one more time next week for the conference championship week. I think we can keep doing Sloop picks though through the playoffs, just to give you as much opportunity as possible to catch me. But this is our penultimate week of Chaos Theory, so that's fun and sad, but also fun, but also sad.
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
We're at the Final Four for Ohio high school football.
Okay.
We're at the Final Four. We're at the state semifinals.
And your boys are still in it, yeah?
They are still in it
but
for this weekend. They're going against they are going against a team with the longest national, not Ohio, national win streak right now.
That doesn't seem fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. To be clear, I don't wish that there were Vegas numbers on a high school game, to be clear, but I would just like to know what they are.
Oh, what's his name?
It's good. It's good.
McNeil on Twitter posts those. I don't know if they're real or not. I really don't know.
Not.
But
God, I hope not. I hope not.
And of course, the trend is like, God, who the hell is picking these spreads, picking these against for high school kids? But take me this one.
It's just McNeil doing it, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, we don't need people gambling on high school games. That's the thing we can go ahead and not do.
Yeah.
But the spread is just a useful piece of information for people like Kyle and I.
Yeah.
I can count for you on one hand the number of actual bets I've placed this year. One of them was Texas beating and covering Michigan. I put a fair amount of money on that and I won it all.
My hometown, the conference that they're in, obviously they're in the Final Four, but they also have another team that's in Division 6 that's in the state semifinals as well too.
Nice. Not bad for a small area of Ohio.
But the King Conference in Ohio is the MAC. It's the MAC in
Is it a different MAC?
It is a different MAC.
Okay.
Yes. That's the one with Marion Local and Coldwater. Is it Liberty Center? I can't remember if Liberty Center is also in there too.
Kyle, I really couldn't tell you. I haven't paid attention to high school football since I graduated high school. I really couldn't tell you.
I don't think they are. I don't know. I don't think they're not. They're
Okay.
not, but either way, like there was a year. I don't know if it was last year or a couple of years ago. I think there was 3 state champions.
Wow.
Or maybe three of them made it to the state finals, and 2 of the 3, maybe all 3.
It would be weird if there were
state champion.
It would be weird if a conference spanned. Spanned is the right word there, right? Spanned 3 separate divisions, right? That would be weird.
They do.
Okay, I guess not then. All right. Anything else in
Midwest? The Ohio Midwest Athletic Conference.
That's redundant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And also that would be the OMAC.
That would be the OMAC. Yeah. That would be.
I have 2 gripes. That would be the OMAC, and that's redundant.
Yeah, I hope the best for my hometown there, but yeah, it's
not going to happen.
It's tough when you it's tough.
Listen, that would be some 1980 Miracle on Ice stuff if they pulled that off. Like straight up. All right. Anything else in Kyle's Corner?
Sorry, I had to quickly look to see if I was correct or not.
Do you? Okay, do you have to do it on air is the question?
It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Tonight's ending music is brought to you by the Sidekicks, who are a band, I believe, out of Cleveland. If not Cleveland, then up in the northeast of Ohio somewhere. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support local podcasters. Once again, these are the Sidekicks.